Hey guys, it's Alex, your pickleball partner here, and I'm here to give you my honest review after 6 weeks of play with the brand new Ruby Pro. I meant to get this video out a lot sooner, but I got really sick with some kind of flu or something, and then I had to train for a tournament, so I was pretty much drilling and practicing every single day. I just didn't get time to make any videos. But if you stick around to the end, I'll give you all the details, all the pros and cons of this new Ruby Pro, and that'll help you make your decision on whether or not you want to buy it. So let's start with some great news. The Ruby Pro is out now, but you need an ambassador early release link to get access to it. So if you check down below in the description and the comments, I'll have a link for you there. You can go ahead and buy the Ruby Pro if that's what you're looking to do. So let's get started and we'll dive into some of the details. And I'll throw up some gameplay here while I talk, just so you don't have to sit here and watch me talk. Alright, so I'll start with what I think is the most important one, and that's going to be the spin and the grip. So 6-0 came out with this new diamond grit that has been like a major talking point on Discords and on YouTube and even at the courts. People keep talking about how shiny the grit looks, and 6-0 advertised this as lasting 4 times longer than normal peel ply texture. So I guess the real question is, how is my Ruby Pro holding up after beating it to shit for 6 weeks? Honestly, it's freaking fantastic. I've had a lot of paddles now from all different brands, and the normal peel ply texture has never really lasted anything longer than like a week. My record for making a paddle smooth, like smooth as a baby's butt, is 1 3-hour play session. I consider it my tennis player's curse. I was pretty much blessed with being able to hit extremely hard topspin drives right from day one. But the flip side of that is I'm pretty much cursed that every single time I hit a topspin drive or a topspin serve, that I smooth over some of the peaks on my peel ply texture face. I just smooth over a chunk of that paddle. So I had pretty much given up and just accepted the fact that I would pretty much always play with smooth paddle faces in pickleball, and that was until I tried this Ruby Pro. So we'll take a little break from the gameplay. If you just look here at this paddle face, you can listen to me rub my hand on it. You can hear how gritty it still is. And I'll put my fingernails on it. I hate doing this to my paddles, but yeah, this is still super gritty. It still feels like sandpaper. It's almost as coarse as it was the first day I got it. Obviously it's worn down just a little bit, but it's super gritty still. So that was 6 weeks of playing almost every single day. It was either drilling or practice leading up to the tournament. 6-0's new diamond grit technology is absolutely revolutionary, and I am totally in love with it. If I can stop the video here, I think it's enough to warrant buying this paddle. So if you want grit that lasts, so you can have optimal spin for longer than a couple of weeks, then this is definitely the paddle for you. But let's move on and talk about another aspect of this paddle, and let's talk about the power. So if you recall from my first video, I went into detail about the power gel and how it was added in between the face layers and the additional fiberglass layers. I also described the larger polypropylene cores that were supposed to improve power and dwell time. Sometimes it's hard to objectively say that one thing is the cause of something, especially when new variables are introduced and they're all introduced at the same time. But whatever combination of new tech contributed to the power, it's definitely worth it. The new Ruby Pro is pretty much like a juiced up version of the regular Ruby 14. It's got significantly more power without having to add any extra weight like some of the more powerful paddles. Coming from the Ruby 14, I felt a significant increase in power without having to swing harder. It isn't as powerful as the old band paddles, those crazy foam paddles from way back when, but it's not too far behind. If the old foam paddles were like a 10 out of 10 on the power scale, I'd say the Ruby Pro comes in at like a 7.5 out of 10. But let's move on to dwell time. Dwell time is something advanced pickleball players constantly obsess over. You know, whether they're talking about how well they can absorb someone's speed up, or do a reset, or just how much they can shape the ball, people are constantly wondering how much dwell time does a paddle really have. And a dwell time is described as how long a pickleball sits on your paddle face when you swing or block a ball. The longer a pickleball sits on a paddle face, the longer your dwell time, and subsequently the more spin you can apply to the ball. You also get the added trampoline effect that can help increase the power. So I think this is probably the only place where I feel like the Ruby Pro is a little weaker. I think it definitely lacks the dwell time compared to a lot of the other newer foam paddles, and that makes sense, right? It's intentionally got fiberglass layers that are much stiffer than foam, and its construction doesn't really lend itself to being a super absorbent paddle face. So while the Ruby Pro does have a lot of power, it doesn't have the dwell time that some players might be chasing or looking for in some of the newer Gen 4 foam paddles. Lastly, let's talk about the pop. So the pop is definitely top notch. When you are at the kitchen line and getting into a hands battle, the pop feels great. It takes some dialing in to get used to, as resets and soft shots can be a little more challenging with how much pop the pop paddle has. But if you naturally got soft hands and you're looking for that extra punch in the firefight, then this is definitely the paddle for you. So let's recap the major pros and cons and help decide whether or not you should buy the 6.0 Ruby Pro. So we'll start with the spin and the grit. The diamond grit is amazing, and there has been no fall off after 6 weeks of intense play. Next, the power is absolutely awesome. It's giving you plenty of firepower to compete with other Gen 4 paddles. The dwell time is a little lacking. I don't think the Ruby Pro is really designed to be an absorbent paddle. But finally, the pop that you have from this paddle is absolutely top tier. And it's giving you incredible speed at the kitchen line to help you win those firefights. So to sum it all up, if you want a long-lasting heavy spin paddle with great power and pop, then this is the paddle for you. Check out that description and comment for an early access link to buy the new 6.0 Ruby Pro. If you enjoyed this video, help me out by hitting that like button and subscribe to see any new review videos, gameplay videos, or tutorials as I continue to try to improve and journey to a 5.0 Duper rating. Thanks guys, we'll see you next time.